All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are at Miami Trace High School for the Saturday McDonald's Holiday Classic. We were on Thursday with two games, and so this would be the consolation and the championship games tonight. Consolation coming first, which will pit Madison Plains against the London Red Raiders. And then game number two, the championship game, will pit the defending champion Miami Trace Panthers, and they will be playing the Greenview Rams tonight. Zach Bayless will be doing our play-by-play. We hope to have Jack Dill in here after his wedding plans. He didn't get married. He's been to a wedding. And we've got game time here in about 8 minutes. So I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Bayless, and he will inform us of all the information about these first two teams.
Yeah, Rick, thanks. Coming into this ball game, guys, it's Madison Plains against the London Red Raiders, and this is normally a series that goes 2 games each year with both teams being in the same league. But this year it's a bit different as Madison Plains made the move from the Mid-State League to another league, and London stayed behind. So both teams only playing once on the actual schedule, but in this tournament they're going to meet for a second time this season, with the later meeting coming down the road at Madison Plains this year. So for Madison Plains, they're coming off a buzzer-beater heartbreak loss against Miami Trace the other night on Friday night. And for London, they're coming off a 63-38 loss to Greenview in the first game of this tournament. Both teams having okay seasons. For Madison Plains, they are 4-4, and London is 4-5. Let's go through the rosters here. First for London, it'll be number 1, Josh Hanley, who's a senior forward. Number 2, Jimmy Doolin, who is a senior forward as well. Number 3, Trey Woodyard, who's a freshman guard. Number 5, Javion Stevens, who is a sophomore forward. Number 10, Cameron Greenhill, who is a junior guard. Number 11, Jacob Krieg, who is a junior forward. Number 12, Jacob Fox, who's a junior guard. Number 15, Stuart Wyrick, who is a senior guard. Number 20, Cody Cunningham, who is a senior forward. Number 21, Jake Ondrich, who is a junior guard. Number 24, Isaiah Hadim, who is a sophomore guard. And number 32, Joey Doolin, who's a sophomore forward. And also there's a couple JV players dressing for London. CJ Crawford, number 5, who's a sophomore. And Eli North, number 22, who is a sophomore as well. For Madison Plains, it looks like Chris Ernst, who wears number 10 and is a sophomore guard. Number 14, Ryan Ernst, a freshman guard. Number 20, Jarrett Valerie, a sophomore guard. Number 22, Jeffrey Whitman, who is a senior guard. Matt Johnson, number 24, is a sophomore guard as well. Number 30, Paul Bryant, is a freshman forward. Number 32, Jacob Toops, is a senior forward. Number 34, Sebastian Rizika, is a sophomore forward. Ian Richards, number 42, is a senior forward. Number 44, Spencer Rizika, is a junior forward. Number 50, Jacob Ati, is a senior forward as well. And number 52, Anthony Holbrook, is a sophomore forward. Madison Plains will also be dressing a few players from their JV. Number 10, Chris Ernst. Number 2, Wesley Stiers. And that will do it for them. Madison Plains is coached by head coach Joe B. Stewart. The assistant is Parker Sullivan. London is coached by Zach Brown, with the varsity assistant being Corey Bexfield. So just with about 5 minutes left to go here, let's talk about some keys for both teams. First, for Madison Plains, it's going to be to shut down London on the perimeter, because London, well, that's really their game, is to shoot threes. Both teams really shoot a lot of threes, but London has no big presence inside to get the ball and score reliably. So if Madison Plains shuts down their perimeter scoring and doesn't foul a lot, they've got a pretty good chance to win this ball game. Also, for Madison Plains, they have to find more ways to score than just the three, because as we mentioned, they live and die by the three. And for Madison Plains, if they're not hitting those threes, they're not going to do as well, and we could have a very low-scoring ball game. So if Madison Plains can get the ball inside, which they try to do a lot against this smaller London team, they will find success and get to the free throw line. For London, the keys are to get the ball inside and establish a presence to spread the floor out and get better three-point opportunity looks. And the second key for London is to make their threes. That's what they've got to do here tonight, as when you live and die by a three, if you're not making threes, they're not going to be very successful. And for London, they don't have much of a post presence, but if they do get one established tonight and knock down threes, Madison Plains doesn't have a very good chance in this ball game.
We also want to remind everybody that doing our camera work tonight, we have Tyler Curtis on camera 1 and Dean Thompson on camera 2 over there behind the McDonald's banner.
So with just about 3.5 minutes to go here, let's talk about the events for tonight. This is the loser's bracket game, so nobody's playing for any championship in this game. However, there will be a player selected from both teams to be on the all-tournament team. And in the championship game, which will come to you right after this ball game, it'll be Greenview and Miami Trace, and there will be 2 players from each team on the all-tournament team, as well as a tournament MVP and a champion team.
And I'm sure that there isn't any team here that's wanting to give up and say, hey, we'll take the loss. These teams are battling, and these teams are neighbors.
Yeah.
You know, all 4 teams that are in this tournament are in very close proximity to each other. Fayette County and Greene County and Madison County. And so, none of them want to lose bragging rights over the other as far as in a win.
Yeah, and for both teams, they have about 4 seniors, so this definitely means a lot. This rivalry going back, I played for Madison Plains. This rivalry means a lot, and especially within Madison County, with any other school you play in Madison County, beating that team means a lot, and by no means is either one of these teams going to lay down, especially since they only get to play each other once this year. They're going to take both of these meetings into consideration and I'd imagine play pretty hard.
Yeah, and of course these 2 teams are Madison County, so you've got 2 county schools playing each other, and we all know how that can be when you're talking about probably cousins or very good friends, very close friends, whether it's in London or out in the farmland. These kids know each other. A lot of times they've played AAU together, so there's other things that they've done together, and maybe even on the same team. Now they're battling each other as far as in basketball.
Yeah. Many friendships here, as you'll see on the college level when rivalries get together. A lot of people grew up together, as you mentioned, many friendships. So this thing's definitely going to be a good game between these 2, coming in pretty evenly matched up here as both teams head to their bench, and we'll get ready for the national anthem as well as the starting lineups. So now after the national anthem, we will have the starters for both teams. First here for London, we have number 1, Josh Hanley, senior forward. Number 2, Jimmy Doolin, who is a senior forward as well. Number 3, Trey Woodyard, who's a freshman guard. Number 15, Stuart Wyrick, who's a senior guard. and number 21, Jake Andrich, who's a junior guard. For Madison Plains, their starting lineup looks like number 22, Jeffrey Whitman, senior guard. Number 24, sophomore guard Matt Johnson. Number 32, Jacob Toops, who is a senior forward. Number 42, Ian Richards, who is a senior forward. And number 44, Spencer Rizika, who plays forward and is a junior in high school. So Madison Plains will be wearing their whites. London will be wearing their reds. And if you're unfamiliar with our broadcast angle, we are kind of going long ways on the floor, so we're not on either side. So we're going to pretend like we're calling this game from the home side. And London will be going to the left. Madison Plains will be going to the right.
So let's play basketball. We're ready.
Both teams heading out. Spencer Rizika will jump for Madison Plains, and Woodyard will jump for London, and London controls it. Ondrich with the basketball at the top of the key, gives it off to Woodyard on the far side. He hands off to Wyrick. Wyrick gets a couple ball screens, dribbles to the top of the key, over to the wing. Ondrich thinks about a three, throws it to the far side corner to Woodyard. Woodyard to the top of the key to Ondrich. He'll throw it over to the corner. Wyrick with the basketball, top of the key over to Woodyard. Woodyard driving to his left. Nobody's going to stop him, and he can't make the layup, but it's tipped out of bounds off Madison Plains and will remain with London. London will take it out of bounds on the near side, gets it into Doolin. Pass to the corner to Wyrick. He'll tee up a three, and good. So London makes their first three of the night. We mentioned both teams will be hoisting a lot of them up, and they come out with the hot hand to start. Here's Razik with the ball, throws it to the corner to Whitman. Whitman driving to the free throw line, pump fakes. Whitman stuck with the basketball, gets it out to Toops, over to Whitman at the top of the key. He calls for people to clear out. Whitman driving to his right, hands it off to Toops. Toops to the free throw line, throws up a left-handed floater and rolls in. Woodyard bringing the ball up the far sideline, defended by Jake Toops. Throws it to the corner to Doolin. Doolin to the top of the key to Ondrich. Ondrich driving, hands off to Wyrick. Wyrick throws it back over to Ondrich. Ondrich thinks about a three, hard closeout from Madison Plains, prevents it. Now here's the ball in the post to Ondrich. Ondrich gets it out to Hanley on the near side wing. Hanley throws it down low to Doolin. Doolin wide open layup for London. That was Spencer Rizika who got beat on the cut for Madison Plains, and Doolin had a wide open layup on the right side. Here's Ian Richards at the top of the key with the basketball, gives it off to Whitman near side wing. Over to the corner of Johnson, throws it down low to Richards, who would have had an open layup if the pass was delivered on time, but it was knocked out of bounds, and Madison Plains will take it out of bounds underneath on the near side. Johnson taking it out of bounds for Madison Plains. He'll inbound to Richards on the wing, over to Whitman. Whitman will tee up a long three, but it's no good. Rebound brought down London. Woodyard with the basketball. Woodyard kicks ahead to Guy, over to Ondrich. Ondrich gives it off to Doolin. Top the key to Woodyard. Woodyard driving to his left, kicks it to Wyrick. Wyrick pump fake, steps back from behind the line, and three's no good. Rebound Rizika. Whitman gives it off to Johnson. Johnson dribbling up the near sideline. Both teams taking their time on offense. Here's Whitman, thinks about a three, driving. Gets in the middle of the paint, kicks it out to Rizika. Wide open for three, and Rizika rattles it home. 5-5 here, 5.5 minutes to go here in the first period. Top of the key with the basketball, Woodyard. Give it off to the near side wing, Doolin. He'll drive wide open to the basket. Nobody from Madison Plains got in his way, and he had a wide open layup. He's got 4 points so far. Johnson bringing it up the near sideline. Gives it off to Whitman. Whitman making a move on his defender. Gives it back to Johnson in the near side corner. Johnson driving to the paint. Tries to spin around, gives it off to Toops, and Toops traveled before he ever got going. So London will have possession of the basketball. Woodyard dribbling it up the court, defended by Toops. Ondrich with the ball on the near side. Gives it off to the opposite side wing to Doolin. Top the key to Wyrick. Over to Ondrich. He'll tee one up with Johnson in his face. No good. Rebound brought down Whitman as he has to tiptoe to save it. And Madison Plains will have the basketball. Johnson slowly dribbling the ball up the court. Hands it off to Toops. Top the key. Toops looking down low to Richards. Richards bobbles it. Picks it back up. Defended by Doolin. Kicks it back to the top of the key to Toops. Over to Johnson. Johnson dribbling it back to the top of the key, setting something up for Madison Plains. Johnson driving to his left. Will go into contact. Off the glass, no good, but Richards is there. He can't convert on the layup. Here comes London with the basketball. Woodyard kicks it over to Hanley. Hanley jab step, skip pass over to Ondrich. Ondrich driving, pulls up, and gets it to go. So the ref blows the whistle, telling one of London's players to tuck his jersey in. So a bit of a stoppage. Now Madison Plains bringing it up the court, 9-5, 4 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Johnson handed off to Toops at the top of the key. Toops looks down low, gives it back to Johnson. Johnson throws it to a posting up Richards. And they're going to call a foul on Doolin from behind on Richards. So Madison Plains will have the ball out of bounds on the far side underneath. It'll be Johnson taking it out for Madison Plains. He'll throw it to the top of the key to Toops. Toops gives it off to Whitman after checking the clock. Whitman driving to his right, spins back to his left, and just missed a cutting Razika for Madison Plains. Now he skips it over to Johnson, down the post to Richards. Richards dribbling to his middle, throws up a right-handed shot, no good. Rebound brought down Wyrick for London. Here come the Raiders. Doolin skips it over. Ondrich wide open for three. No good. Rebound brought down Doolin. He puts it up. Can't get it to go. Tries to tip it out. Ondrich saves it in bounds, but they're going to say he stepped on the line and it'll go back towards Madison Plains. Johnson bringing the ball up for the Eagles. Here's Richards with the ball. Gives it back to Johnson. And they're going to call a moving screen on Jacob Toops. He tried to set a back screen for Richards and just shuffled his feet too much and enforced the contact without staying set, so it'll go back towards London. Woodyard bringing it up for the Raiders. Gives it off to the far side wing to Doolin, over the top of the key to Hanley, back to Woodyard. Woodyard looks down low to Doolin. He puts it up and is fouled. It looks like Matthew Johnson, who was going to pick up the foul, as both Eagles double-teamed him down low. And it will be Matthew Johnson picking up his first foul, second Madison Plains team foul of the night. 9-5 with exactly 3 minutes to go here in the first quarter, as Doolin's first free throw hits too strong. Sub for Madison Plains, Holbrook will come in for Richards. Doolin's second free throw on its way, and it's left short. Rebound brought down Razika for the Eagles. Johnson bringing it up as London goes into a zone. Skip past to Razika. Razika driving baseline, gets cut off, gets it out to Toops. Over to Johnson. Johnson driving to the hoop and stops, throws up a shot, and gets it to go. The London fans and the bench wanted a travel, but nothing's called. 9-7. London on top of Madison Plains here with 2:30 to go. Ondrich with the basketball, gets it down to Doolin. Doolin left wide open and gets it to go. Madison Plains was fronting on Doolin that time. They threw it right over top of Razika, and Doolin had a wide open layup. So here are the Eagles. Whitman with the ball in the corner. Skip pass to Toops. He'll tee one up from deep, and Toops too strong, and it's tipped out of bounds off Holbrook for the Eagles, and will go back towards London's way. So the Raiders will inbound it. Woodyard walking the ball up the court. Defended by Toops. Dribbling over to the wing. Gets a double ball screen. Coming back to his left. Gets to the near side corner. Wyrick left open for three. Too strong. Rattles out. Rebound tipped around. Controlled by Madison Plains. Holbrook brings it down. Whitman will give it off to Johnson. Johnson walking the ball up the court. Gives it to the near side corner to Whitman. Whitman down the post to Holbrook. Over to Razika. Back to Whitman for three. Whitman, too strong. Just grazes the rim. Rebound brought down by Madison Plains. Toops with the basketball. Gives it off to Johnson. They'll reset. Now back to Toops on the far side wing. Over the top the key to Johnson. Johnson gets the spacing realigned, gives it off to Whitman. Whitman dribbling with his right hand, spins back around, gets it back out to Johnson. This zone's confusing Madison Plains a little bit. Now back to Whitman, corner, and Whitman will be called with a travel as he caught the ball and hopped after he caught it. And he's not too fond of the call, but it will go back towards the Raiders' way. Woodyard again bringing the ball up for the Raiders. Gives it off to Hanley on the near side wing. Over to Doolin, far side wing. Skip over to Wyrick. Off a screen. No good from 3. Rebound for Madison Plains. Here comes Johnson with the basketball. Johnson gives it off to Toops. Over back to Johnson. Down to Holbrook, who's left open and puts up a layup with his right hand on the left side. Here comes London with the basketball. Woodyard gives it off to Hanley. Hanley defended hard by Holbrook. Holbrook gets beat by Hanley, but recovers and gives it off to Ondrich. Ondrich to Doolin, top the key. Over the corner to Woodyard. He thinks about a 3, gives it off to Wyrick, who's left wide open, thinks about it, but decides not to. Gives it off to Ondrich. 21 seconds left to go here. We'll see if London holds for the last shot. Doolin with the basketball, near side wing. Gives it off to Wyrick. Over the corner to Ondrich. Driving to the basket, and no cut off. Ondrich with the basketball. 5 seconds to go. Ondrich driving to his right. Floater middle lane, blocked by Ruzicka. Holbrook loses the basketball, and a shot will have to be thrown up by the Raiders. Ondrich, and it's no good, and that'll bring us to the end of the first quarter. 11-9. London on top of Madison Plains.
.9 WZAA LP, Jeffersonville.
Begin the next step of your life at Ohio Christian University, one of the nation's fastest growing nonprofit universities. Earn an accredited associate, bachelor, or master's degree entirely online, or attend class once a week at one of 11 convenient locations. Programs range from business and human services to IT and RN to BSN and more. Call today, 855-OCU-GRAD, or on the web at enroll.ohiochristian.edu.
Back here in the pit at Miami Trace for game number 1 of tonight's action. London leading Madison Plains 11-9 as we get ready to start the second quarter. Through the first quarter, it was London who took the lead from the start with a three-pointer. Madison Plains coming back to tie the ball game, but London controlled through most of the quarter and actually went to a zone which confused and slowed down Madison Plains a little bit. So now both teams taking the court with their usual lineups. Madison Plains will have the ball to start the second. Inbounds into Johnson. London still in a zone, 1-3-1. Here's Whitman with the ball in the corner. Off to Johnson at the near side wing. Back to Whitman in the corner. Whitman over to Johnson. Back over to Toops. Toops to the corner to Ruzicka. Left wide open for 3 and gets it to go. Ruzicka has both of Madison Plains' three-pointers tonight, and if you leave him wide open, that's what he can do. So Woodyard gives it off to Ondrich on the near side corner. And Ondrich is called for a travel as he's helped up by Ruzicka. And London makes a substitution. Into the ball game comes Cameron Greenhill. He'll check in for Ondrich. Johnson walking the ball up for the Eagles. London has went to a man-to-man. Johnson gives it off to Whitman. Whitman to the top, the key to Toops. Toops driving to right side, puts up a layup. No good. Holbrook comes down, but it's tied up between him and Doolin. Holbrook went over, skied through the air to pull that thing down. It looked like he had no shot when it went up off the rim, so it'll be a jump ball and will go back towards London. Woodyard bringing the ball up for the Raiders. Drives over to his left, and he'll pull up from 3 without a pass. Rattles around, no good. Tipped around by Plains, controlled by Ruzicka. Here comes Whitman up the near sideline for the Eagles. Whitman driving to his right, and Lou throws it right over to London as he was caught underneath the backboard and had nothing going. Here's London with the basketball now. Top the key, Greenhill. He'll give it off to the near side to Hanley. Over to Doolin. Doolin will tee one up for deep. No good. Too strong. Tubes comes down with the rebound for the Eagles. Now Johnson walking it up the near sideline. Johnson driving to the middle. Fakes and will come back, shoot a fadeaway jumper, and swishes it. That's the second time he's done that tonight, and it looks pretty good. 14-11. Madison Plains has come back to take the lead with about 6 minutes to go here in the second quarter. Here's Doolin on the near side wing. He traveled with the basketball. It will go towards Madison Plains. Richards will check in for Razika for the Eagles. And to the bench for London goes Woodyard. Into the ball game comes Ondrich. So Johnson bringing the ball up, hands it off to Richards, top the key. Richards looking for a high-low, nothing doing. Gives it over to Whitman. Whitman looking down the post. And London's doing a pretty good job playing post defense. Holbrook has to catch at the top of the key. He'll make a move, go to his right, shoot a fadeaway jumper, but they're going to call a foul on the floor, so Madison Plains will take it out underneath on the near side. For London, Joey Doolin, the younger brother of Jimmy Doolin, will check in for his brother Jimmy Doolin. Madison Plains will inbound it down to Richards in the post. He puts up a shot and will head to the free throw line for two. So Richards goes to the line, and his first free throw is good. And the second free throw is left short, but Holbrook's there to clean it up, puts it up and in, no good. And Richards comes in to get it, but they call over the back on him, and London will have the basketball. That's Richards' first foul of the ball game, third team foul for Madison Plains. Both teams have 3 team fouls. So Ondrich bringing the ball up the court as Woodyard sits and gets ready to check back in. Here's the ball near side to Greenhill, nearly stolen by Madison Plains. And there's going to be a blocking foul called on Holbrook. He was defending Hanley. Hanley tried to drive to the basket, and Holbrook slid over and got him with the knee. So Woodyard checks into the ball game. He'll sub for Cameron Greenhill. London will take it out on the near side. And a 5-second call will be called. The Raiders couldn't get open. Madison Plains wasn't doing a whole lot special, but no one was coming to the basketball, so it'll go towards the Eagles. So the Eagles walking it up. Johnson with the basketball, hands off top the key to Holbrook. Tried to throw it down in the post to Richards, but it's stolen by London. Here comes Ondrich, kicks it ahead to Woodyard. Woodyard, far side corner. Gives it off to Joey Doolin. Over to Ondrich. He'll pull up. Mid-range, far side, leaves it short. Rebound, Holbrook. Boy, if the ball is in the vicinity of Holbrook, he's bringing it down regardless of who's there. So now here's Johnson, hands it off to Richards, top the key. Richards down the post to Toops. Toops spins around, throws up a long lefty hook shot, no good. Rebound, Ondrich. Here come the Raiders. Ondrich up the near side with his left hand. Gives it off the top the key to Woodyard. Woodyard driving to his left, cut off by Whitman. Now here's Hanley, kicks it over to Wyrick. Wyrick thinks about a three, driving to the basket, left-handed layup, too strong, no good. Rebound brought down by Richards. Now here comes Johnson, bringing the ball up the court for the Eagles. Johnson to his right, gives it off to Whitman. Over the top, the key to Richards. He's driving, and it's stolen, cut off by Hanley. And London had an opportunity to go in and get a wide-open layup, but a foul from behind called on the Eagles prevents that, and a good foul because London would have had a wide-open layup. And that foul was on Matthew Johnson. That's his second with 4.5 minutes to go here. Here's the ball on the near side wing, Hanley. Gives it over to Wyrick. Wyrick defended by Whitman. Wyrick gives it off to Joey Doolin. Doolin over to Woodyard. Woodyard fakes, drives, pulls up mid-range. Free throw line, good. Now here comes Madison Plains bringing the ball off the court. Both teams taking their time in this game, not trying to rush anything. And here's Ruzicka driving to the basket and avoids two players and puts it up with his right hand. Ruzicka was just taller than everybody, and they had no shot at blocking his shot there. So here's London, Handley with the basketball. Driving to his left, and he puts it up on the left side with his right hand over Ruzicka. 17-15, 3.5 to go here in quarter number 2. First game of this Holiday Classic. Johnson driving, middle of the lane. Fade away, no good. Rebound brought down by Joey Doolin. Bringing the ball up for London is Woodyard. Driving to his left, throws up a shot, and no good. He's fouled on the play, though, so we'll head to the free throw line as Johnson puts his hands up as he doesn't know what he did. The foul will be called on Toops. That's his second foul. So a couple decisions to make here for Madison Plains as to whether they leave Toops and Johnson in much longer. And the first free throw hits the front iron and rolls in for Woodyard. Holbrook will go check in for Toops for Madison Plains. And the second free throw by Woodyard's good as well. And London will call a timeout. Ball game tied 17-17 here in the second quarter with 3:19 to go.
Take a ride on the Jeffersonville airplane. Follow the White Rabbit 106.9 FM, Jeffersonville.
Begin the next step of your life at Ohio Christian University, one of the nation's fastest growing nonprofit universities. Earn an accredited associate, bachelor, or master's degree entirely online, or attend class once a week at one of 11 convenient locations. Programs range from business and human services to IT and RN to BSN and more. Call today, 855-OCU-GRAD, or on the web at enroll.ohiochristian.edu.
Back here at Miami Trace, before we have the championship game here in the first game is the losers bracket. London and Madison Plains all knotted up at 17 with just over 3 minutes to go here. For both of these teams, it's been a rather slow game and really more defense than offense, but even more than that, just both teams controlling the basketball and not rushing their shots. That's why it's 17-17. Not really that both of them are missing too many shots, just not a lot of shots being put up.
On Thursday night, what we found was that
here's Madison Plains. They'll break the press. Whitman driving to the basket. He'll give it off to Ruzicka. Ruzicka driving to the middle, throws up a floater, and one! Nice move by Ruzicka there as he drove with the defender on his hip, got the contact, and put it up with his right hand in the paint. So he'll head to the free throw line to complete the and one. And it's up, but it's left off to the left side. London will have the basketball. Woodyard bringing it up. Nobody picks Woodyard up, and he'll have a wide open three, but misses it. Rebound brought down Holbrook for Plains. Boy, Joe Stewart can't be too happy for the Eagles as they left one of London's best shooters wide open. Now here's Johnson driving to his right, jump stops, puts it up, and it's rebounded by Holbrook. He'll get a foul, and he'll head to the free throw line.
Yeah, that was definitely a foul there. Thursday night's game, I was saying, it seemed like London and Greenview, they were going all at it, back up and down the floor very quickly. Yeah. Tonight, London is not playing that way against Plains.
And the first free throw for Holbrook is short and off to the right. Really, Madison Plains, when they played against Miami Trace, both those teams would get up and down the court. We saw at one point, Trace had to call a timeout because both teams kept losing the ball back and forth before they even got a shot off. And the second free throw is up and swished home for Holbrook. 20-17 with 2:45 to go here in the second quarter. So, as I mentioned, both teams really slowing the tempo down.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the second game, how this plays out, too.
And a layup down low blocked by Ruzicka from behind. And Madison Plains having the basketball, bringing it up the court. Richards throws it down low to Holbrook. He'll pin his man and puts it up off the glass, good for two. Boy, nice possession there for Madison Plains. They knew what they wanted from the get-go, and they got it. Here's Joey Doolin in the corner. Gives it off to Hanley. Near side wing, he'll drive to his right in between his legs. Now beats his man. Gives it off to Joey Doolin, and he gets a wide-open layup.
He's done that a few times.
Yeah, and that was all brought on by Hanley, who broke his man down and then gave it off to Doolin, who was cut into the basket. Now Richards with the basketball, looking down low over to Holbrook, throws it, but it's tipped out of bounds on the helping Hanley for the Raiders, and will stay with Madison Plains. We'll take it out of bounds here on the near side. Richards will take it out for the Eagles, gets it in to Whitman on the near side wing. Raiders showing a man-to-man defense, and a pass down low to Holbrook. Never really was close to him and just sails out of bounds, and will go back towards the Raiders' way.
I think we were expecting a cut that never occurred there.
Woodyard bringing it up for the Raiders, gives it off to Wyrick on the near side wing. Top the key to Joey Doolin, over to Ondrich. Ondrich over to Wyrick. Pump fakes, gives it off to Ondrich, top the key. Over to Woodyard, near side wing, defended by Johnson. Top the key, over to Hanley. Over to Wyrick, who's left all alone for three, and swishes it. Boy, he's been left open a few times, wide open for Madison Plains. Not a lot of attention being showed to him, and he does it again. His second three of the night. Now here comes Johnson, gives it off to Whitman. Whitman driving to his left in the paint, pump fakes, and gets blocked by Ondrich. Whitman tries to throw it down low to Holbrook, and it's stolen by London. Here comes Wyrick with the basketball, gives it off to Ondrich. Defended by Ruzicka, and over to the top of the key to Hanley. Hanley over to Ondrich, defended by Whitman, over to the corner to Joey Dolan. Here's Woodyard with the basketball, near side wing. Woodyard skips it over to Hanley. 39 seconds to go. Wyrick left wide open again, can't get the three to fall, but it's rebounded by London. Doolin gets his own rebound after putting it up, and will put it up again. Off the rim, no good, and scrap around for the ball. Onto the floor is Johnson, and they're going to call a foul on the Raiders.
London wanted a travel.
And as we saw a play similar to that the other night, they actually did call a travel on Johnson, who dove on the floor, but for this time it'll go towards Madison Plains, and the foul will be called on Hanley. That's his first foul. Both teams with 6 team fouls, so one more foul for each will put them in the bonus. 26.5 seconds to go here, 22 all. Madison Plains bringing the ball up. We'll see if they hold it for the last shot. London showing a zone, 1-3-1. Here's Holbrook with the basketball. Near side of wing, gives it off to Whitman. Over to Ruzicka. Tries to get down low to Holbrook. He'll put it up, but it's too strong off the other side of the glass. Here comes London now. They'll have a chance for the last shot. Woodyard with the basketball. 6 seconds to go. Far side wing. Gets a ball screen. Thinks about a three. Gives it off to Ondrich. He's driving through the lane. Gives it off to Doolin down low, but the game clock expired, and London didn't even get a shot off.
22-22.
We'll head to halftime. 22 is the score for both teams. Low-scoring ball game. We'll be back to talk to you about it.
Begin the next step of your life at Ohio Christian University, one of the nation's fastest-growing nonprofit universities. Earn an accredited associate, bachelor, or master's degree entirely online, or attend class once a week at one of 11 convenient locations. Programs range from business and human services to IT and RN to BSN and more. Call today, 855-OCU-GRAD, or on the web at enroll.ohiochristian.edu.
Back here at the half in game 1 of tonight's action, 22-22. Madison Plains against London, both of these rivals. Not a lot of offense going on because a lot of controlling the ball and not a lot of shots being put up. So, yeah, go ahead, Rick.
It's been an interesting first half of play. And as we were saying earlier, there's a stark difference between the way they're playing tonight and the way they played on each team against their rivals on Thursday night, because we had a lot more up-tempo game this past Thursday with these teams, and tonight it's been more of a controlled slowdown that we've seen.
Yeah. So at the half here, we'll go over some of the scores here on the board as we don't have the official stats, so we'll give you what we know. For Madison Plains, Jeffrey Whitman, one of their leading scorers, has nothing, which is kind of amazing how they're in this ball game still with
not scoring.
Yeah. And for them also, their leading scorer, Spencer Rizika, has 10 points at the half. Matthew Johnson with 4. Ian Richards with 1. And Holbrook with 5. For London, it is Josh Hanley with 2 points. Trey Woodyard with 4 points. Jake Ondrich with 2 points. Joey Doolin with 2 points. And Stuart Wyrick with 6 points. So really a controlling of possession here for both teams. We talked about the storylines coming into this ball game. Both teams rivals, only meeting up once this year as Madison Plains switched leagues, so not an opportunity to play twice. That ball game will be played later on this year at Madison Plains. But for now, they get a chance here in this holiday tournament. For Madison Plains and London, it's not what they wanted in the losers bracket, but they do get a chance to square off here and add another chapter to this rivalry. So MP's coming off a buzzer beater loss last night. For London, it wasn't as close as they got beat 63-38 to Greenview. As we go back and talk about some of the keys we had earlier here in the ball game, for London, it was to stop the ball in the paint, and Madison Plains has been getting it in the paint. We've seen Johnson a few times with some jumpers. Holbrook scored down low, and really Madison Plains getting it down there, getting offensive rebounds, getting fouled, sent back to the free throw line, gives them more chances. And for London, well, they've needed to hit some threes, and they've hit a few here tonight. Wyrick been left over, hitting a couple threes, and as well as a few other of their players. For Madison Plains, their keys to start the game was to shut down London on the perimeter. Well, they've done a pretty good job, but as we said, not a lot of teams shooting a lot of threes, so we'll see if anything changes here at halftime as far as that goes. And for Madison Plains, we also talked about them needing to find more ways to score other than just the three, and they have. They went to the free throw line, got it down low for some layups, etc. London switched back and forth during the half from a 1-3-1 zone to a man-to-man to try to slow down Madison Plains, and it seemed to work at times, but Madison Plains, as soon as they would catch on to the zone, London would switch right back to their man and slow Madison Plains down a little bit more here. So we'll see what the game plan is for London. Of course, Madison Plains and Coach Stewart doesn't believe really in running zone, so they haven't ran zone here tonight and really won't all year, barring anything unforeseen. So we've got about 6 minutes to go here. We'll take a few minute break and we'll come back and talk to you about the second half.
We'd like to remind everybody that the HD video for this game and the game to follow this tonight will be available on our website probably Monday evening on the campusnation.com website. So if you're listening to the game, we have streaming audio tonight, but we have HD video, which we are recording with 2 cameras, which will be available on Monday night. And in fact, our Thursday night games, as well as tonight's games, they should all be on the site here in the next few days. So you'll be able to see this entire McDonald's Holiday Classic, each game, all 4 games, on our website here in the upcoming days. Also remind everybody, our sponsor, Ohio Christian University, they are going to be the site of our Tuesday night broadcast where we have men's and women's game first and then the men's. I think we started about 5 o'clock. Look for our website as far as I'm going to work tomorrow and probably New Year's Day on posting everything for the month of January. So you'll be able to see all our scheduled games for the month of January. And one of the things that we want to remind you is even when we post January schedule, that's not in stone, because a lot of times we will add events depending on whether we have open dates or what the event, the particular event entails. A lot of times we will schedule a game, or maybe we'll do a simulcast with 2 different games in 2 different venues if we feel that it's warranted. So that's all the more reason to make sure that you keep an eye on the campusnation.com website, because that's where all our action is listed. All right, we're going to take a little break here. We'll be back in about 2 minutes for the second half of this first game, the consolation game, with London playing Madison Plains. Just a moment.
Welcome back here to Miami Trace, where it's knotted up here, getting ready to start the second half. Both teams at 22 here in this rivalry game that meets here in the Holiday Tournament Classic. Both teams just getting ready to head over to their benches. Madison Plains still warming up. London's already heading over to their benches and sending the starting lineup out, as the ref has not told Madison Plains to get off the court yet.
Will he do that?
Yeah. Well, I know when I was playing, they sure would, but, you know.
Well, you're a lot seedier looking character, that's it.
Oh, yeah? Yeah. I'm sure
You're about
why.
like the all-American guy, you know?
Yeah, right. What Rick says.
Well, I'm not going to do what Charlie does and what Marianne does. Every time I'm in the studio in the morning, they're trying to pawn me off to some woman. I'm not the dating game here, so.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and if you want to catch the morning show every morning through the week, 7 to 10 a.m., also streaming on Facebook Live as well.
Right, and we won't be on, obviously, Monday because of the holiday, but Tuesday through Friday this coming week.
Madison Plains has the ball to start the half. Johnson hands it off to Toops, the top of the key. Toops over to Whitman on the far side wing. Whitman being harassed by Ondrich, driving to the basket, throws it out to the corner, but they're going to call a foul down low. It looks like it will be on Ondrich.
Yeah, actually, it looked like Plains was ready to shoot a layup there and then thought to pitch it out to maybe for a three, and that's when he was fouled.
So Johnson will inbound to Razika on the near side wing, or far side wing, gives it off to Richards, now over to Toops. Toops dribbling over to the top of the key, gives it off to Whitman, far side. Whitman, jab steps, driving to the hoop, tries to dish it off to Richards, but he throws it off Doolin's foot, and it'll head out of bounds, but will remain with Madison Plains. Johnson will take it out as Madison Plains gets in their stack. Inbound in again to Ruzicka. He hands it off to Whitman. Near side wing. Whitman will tee one up from nearly out of bounds, and he misses it, but London will be called for the foul. That was Doolin, who appeared to be boxing out Richards, but they're going to call him for the foul as he looks up in disgust, and it'll remain with Madison Plains again. So the two Doolin brothers will swap out. Younger brother Joey Doolin will check in for Jimmy Doolin. Johnson will inbound on the far side underneath, gets into Ruzicka. He drives to his left, no one stops him, throws up a floater, tries to follow a shot and tip it in, and it's tipped out of bounds off London and will still stay with Madison Plains underneath. Johnson taking it out again for the Eagles. Gets it into Whitman, near side wing. Whitman dribbles over to the top of the key. Madison Plains taking their time. Here's Ruzicka, near side wing. He's going to jack one up over Wyrick, leaves it off the front rim. Rebound brought down by Joey Doolin. Here comes Woodyard for London. Top of the key, gives it off to Hanley. Over the corner to Wyrick. Wyrick jacks one up, rattles around, nearly falls down, and it doesn't go in, but they're going to call Ian Richards for the Eagles on an over the back. So London will take it out of bounds on the near side underneath. Inbound is into Joey Doolin. Woodyard gets the handoff and loses it, but recovers it. Now here's Andrich. Top the key, gives it off to Hanley. Over to Wyrick. Short corner, far side. Gives it off to Joey Doolin. He'll give it right back to Wyrick. Wyrick driving through the paint. Gives it off to Woodyard. Near side corner for three. Good. That was a contested three from Woodyard, but he put it right in the basket. Toops throws it down low to Richards. It's deflected from behind by Doolin, and here comes Andrich with the basketball. Andrich all the way to the hoop, gets stripped by Johnson. He saves it in, but it goes right to London. Hanley throws it down low to Doolin, to the corner to Woodyard. For three, good! Wow. Back-to-back threes from Woodyard, and London went on a 6-0 run. Madison Plains has to call a timeout. 28-22. Here, 6:13 remaining here in the third quarter. London coming out bombing threes.
Yeah, they've awakened, I guess you could say. Joe B not too happy, so he's wanting to call a timeout and discuss this with his team here.
Yeah, but for head coach Zach Brown for London, he's got to be happy as Woodyard hits back-to-back threes. Not necessarily wide open. The last one was more wide open than the one before, but nonetheless, Madison Plains leaving arguably London's best shooter wide open, and before that it was Wyrick left wide open, who we've seen left open numerous times during this game, and he's shown he can hit the shot. So Madison Plains will come out of their timeout and will bring it up from the opposite side. Troops will inbound to Johnson. He'll walk the ball up the court for the Eagles. Madison Plains spreading the court out. Toops with the basketball. Stuck, lost his dribble. Gives it over the top of the key to Johnson. Johnson driving to his left to the corner to Ruzicka. Nearly lost the ball. Ruzicka crossing over, driving to his left. Throws up a wild shot and it's catching nothing but air, but Richards is there to get it, and he'll be fouled and sent to the free throw line. Boy, I tell you, every time you look up, whether it's Holbrook or Richards in the ball game, you can count on a second chance, even a third or fourth chance for Madison Plains. They crash the offensive boards hard, and that's exactly what Coach Stewart and the Eagles want.
Yeah, they're very aggressive underneath. That's paying off for them.
So Richards' first free throw is rattled home, and Madison Plains ends their scoring drought to start the half.
Boy, those London cheerleaders are loud.
Yeah, but unfazed by the noise is Richards as he knocks down a pair. It's 24-28 London. Ball in the near side corner to Wyrick. He'll throw it to the top of the key to Andrich. Over to Woodyard. Driving. Baseline gets cut off. Throws it top of the key back to Wyrick. Wyrick throws it to the corner to Hanley. Hanley picks up his dribble. Gives it off to Woodyard. Woodyard with the defender on his back. Spins around. Goes to the top of the key. Woodyard resetting the offense up. Denies the ball screen. Throws it to the corner to Andrich. Andrich for three. Rattles around. Doolin's there for the rebound. And throws it back out to Wyrick. Wyrick over to Woodyard. And Woodyard will pull it back out and spread the court back out for London. Driving on Rizika, pulls up, gives it off to Hanley for three, no good. Whitman tips it to himself for a rebound. Here come the Eagles with the basketball. Whitman up the near side. Whitman hands it off to Toops. Toops over to Johnson. Johnson driving from the far side wing, gets cut off, looking for a back cutter, has nothing, gets the ball stripped, but right into the hands of Whitman. Whitman loses it, and it's into the hand of Ondrich, and a foul will be called on the Eagles as Ondrich was going to have a wide open transition layup. We'll see who they call that on. It was either on Whitman or on Johnson.
Number 24.
And they will call it on Johnson. That's his third foul here with 4:48 remaining here in the third quarter. Substitution for Madison Plains. Holbrook will come in for Richards. Into the ball game also for Madison Plains is Ernst. He will come in for Matthew Johnson. That is Ryan Ernst. Chris Ernst is also on the roster for Madison Plains. Woodyard with the basketball, calls for a ball screen. Uses it, gets another ball screen. Good defense from the Eagles. Ondrich tees up a wide open three, no good. Rebound Holbrook, fresh into the basketball game. Here comes Madison Plains with the basketball, but a pass stolen by London. Woodyard gives it off to Wyrick for a right-handed layup, good. Madison Plains shooting themselves in the foot by turning the basketball over. That was Ernst who came right into the ball game and threw it right to London. Here's Ernst now, hands off at the top of the key to Toops. Gives it off to Whitman, far side wing. Whitman gets a ball screen over the top of the key, defended by Wyrick. Whitman picks up his dribble over to Toops. He'll drive baseline from the corner. Gives it off to Holbrook, pump fakes, but he traveled before he put the shot up. Holbrook got it, pump faked, but before he ever got the shot off, you could see him anticipating putting it right up after the pump fake, and he moved his feet. Good call by the refs. Here's Woodyard with the basketball, defended by Toops. Driving to his left, steps back, jumper, and nails it. Boy, you could tell Woodyard had something in his mind from the beginning of that possession as he was eyeing his defender up and decided to step back. Here's Ernst bringing the ball up for the Eagles. Toops driving, pulls up at the free throw line, lefty jumper, no good.
Putback.
And Rizika is there for the putback, and he gets fouled and will head to the free throw line. For Madison Plains, the most at this point, it's pretty much just throw it up there on the backboard and try to crash the boards and get a closer shot. Rizika's first attempt is off to the right, no good. And the second free throw by Rizika is up and good. 25-32, Raiders on top of the Eagles here with 3.5 minutes to go in the third quarter of this consolation game. Wyrick with the ball in the near side corner, gives it off to the top of the key, over to the opposite side wing, down in the post to Woodyard. Woodyard spins around, goes through contact, puts it up with the right hand, no good. Toops had the rebound, but lost it out of bounds. So London will take the ball out of bounds underneath on the far side as things start getting chippy here.
Yeah.
Now
it's those cousins.
Yeah, right. Woodyard with the basketball on the far side wing, defended by Jacob Toops. It was him and Toops that started exchanging words down low on that block out of bounds. Now here's Wyrick at the top of the key. Gives it off to a cutting Ondrich. He has nothing. Gives it out to Hanley. They call a travel on Ondrich as he looks over to the bench for his coach to give him an explanation what he did wrong.
Well, you moved your feet. That was the explanation.
So the Eagles bringing the ball up the court. It'll be Ernst. Ernst had to check in for Johnson, who's sitting on the bench with foul trouble. He has 3 right now through the third quarter as a pass is stolen and tried to save by Ondrich. Ernst comes over, tries to take it away. Recovered by Ondrich. He puts up a layup and nearly gets it to go for an and one, but it rolls off the other side of the rim. He'll head to the line for a couple free throws.
Red Raiders are feeling some momentum here.
Yeah. In Madison Plains, it's not helping for them as their newly inserted point guard, Ryan Ernst, is turning the ball over as well as everyone else. And the first free throw on its way, touches every part of the inside of the rim, rolls around and is good for Andrich. Johnson will check in for Whitman. He'll head to the bench with 0 points. So far, the Raiders have held him scoreless tonight. Andrich's second free throw rattles home, 34-25. Red Raiders on top of the Eagles here with 2.5 minutes in the third quarter. Toops, top the key, hands it off to Ernst. Ernst driving, tries to throw it down low to Holbrook. He wasn't ready for it, but it's recovered by Rizika, and they'll call a blocking foul. Rizika will head to the free throw line with a pair of free throws. London, their bench,
didn't like that.
as well as their fans, they weren't too fond of that. They thought it was a charge. So that'll be Hanley's third foul. We'll see how London plays him the rest of the way, as they have a pretty short bench, as well as the Eagles. They don't go pretty deep on their bench either. And Rizika misses the first free throw, but he will have another attempt.
Yeah, need to make these free throws. With the clock stopped, you got to catch up.
Yeah. Need to slow the momentum down for London. And he misses the second free throw. London down with the rebound, Woodyard with the ball. Woodyard driving to his right, hands it off to Wyrick, and they call a travel on Woodyard. Sub for Madison Plains, Ian Richards comes into the ball game. He will check in for Toops. Bringing the ball up for the Eagles is Johnson, who checked back into the ball game. He hands off to Richards. Throw down low to Holbrook. He gathers it and will get fouled, and he'll head to the free throw line.
So London is giving Madison Plains ample opportunity to pull themselves back into this game with these free throws. They just need to take advantage of make them.
Yeah. And the first free throw up by Holbrook and rattles around, nearly goes in, but bounces out. Holbrook get ready to attempt his second free throw, and that one bounces, no good. Ball tipped around, rebound by Rizika for the Eagles. Here's Ernst with the basketball, gives it off to Richards. Far side, off to the top, the key to Johnson. Johnson going over to the right wing, driving to the right side, dished it off to Holbrook. He'll get hit, gets his own rebound, puts it back up, no good. Rebound Rizika, he gets fouled and he'll head to the free throw line.
I saw at least 2 fouls prior to that foul.
Yeah, I thought Holbrook got fouled initially there, and he got his ball back. I think surprised there was no whistle. He landed in his lap. He tried to put it right back up, didn't get it, but Rizika on the other side gets it.
Right.
And this scrappy Madison Plains team on the offensive boards gets another chance to go to the free throw line.
So sink a few.
And the first free throw by Rizika is missed. The Doolin brothers will also swap back out, as Jimmy Doolin will come in for younger brother Joey Doolin. And Rizika misses his second free throw, and it's tipped out of bounds and will go over to London. And Madison Plains will call a timeout, and we will take a break from a word from our sponsor.
106.9 WZAA LP, Jeffersonville.
Begin the next step of your life at Ohio Christian University, one of the nation's fastest growing nonprofit universities. Earn an accredited associate, bachelor, or master's degree entirely online, or attend class once a week at one of 11 convenient locations. Programs range from business and human services to IT and RN to BSN and more. Call today, 855-OCU-GRAD, or on the web at enroll.ohiochristian.edu.
London making a run here to start the second half, as we have 1:48 to go here in the third quarter. London up 34-25. And Madison Plains has only scored 3 points this quarter. We saw a couple weeks ago, or a week and a half or so ago, it feels like an eternity ago, when we saw Madison Plains against Green, and they struggled to shoot that night, and that's what's happening tonight with Madison Plains, is it's just throw it up on the backboard and try to get a rebound. So London will have possession of the basketball. Woodyard dribbling out on the near side. Gives it over to Andrich, far side wing. Andrich to the top, the key to Wyrick. Wyrick near side, gives it off to Hanley, back to Wyrick, over to the corner. Doolin will tee one up from deep, and that's too long, and it'll go over towards Madison Plains. Richards with the rebound. Johnson will bring the ball up the court, looks to the bench, and gets a play call. London switches over to their zone. Richards with the ball, gives it off to Johnson. Madison Plains again looking over to the bench. Here's Ernst with the basketball, gives it back over to Johnson. Top of the key, back to Ernst, far side wing. Ernst takes a dribble, gives it off to Johnson. Over to his left with the basketball, nearly traveled as Johnson gives it off to Razika, who can't get the layup. Richards with the offensive rebound, can't get it to go. And a jump ball by Razika and Woodyard.
Coming back to London, I think.
Yeah, possession will go back over to London as Toops and Whitman check in the ball game for Ernst and Johnson. 52.3 seconds to go here in the third quarter. 34-25. London on top of the Eagles here in game number 1 of the final day of this tournament. Here's Anders with the basketball on the near side. Tries to get it down low to Woodyard, Hanley nearly lost it. Now Wyrick gives it back to the top of the key to Andrich. Andrich directing traffic. Gives it off to Woodyard over the near side corner to Doolin. Here's Wyrick, top of the key. 3 is good. Boy, he takes a long time to get that thing set up, but when he releases it, it's good. 20 seconds to go here, 37-25. London on top of Madison Plains. Whitman throws it over to Toops, back to Whitman. He'll dribble to the top of the key. 10 seconds to go. Here's Toops with the basketball. Throws it to Holbrook. Holbrook looks down low. 5 seconds. He'll go into traffic and put it off the hoop. No good. Richards tries to get the offensive rebound. London comes down with it. Woodyard will hoist a quarter shot, and it will go over top the backboard and out of bounds. So that's how the third quarter will end, with the Raiders holding an 12-point advantage over the Eagles, 37-25. London really getting on a run that quarter. And we'll come back to see if Madison Plains can get back into this ball game.
WZAA Oldies 106.9.
Back here in the pit at Miami Trace here in the consolation game number 1. Don't forget, immediately following this game, we have the championship game where Miami Trace will look to defend their championship in the McDonald's Classic Tournament as they take on Greenview. Here in this ball game, it's 37-25, very low-scoring ball game, but London's came out here in the second half, and Madison Plains breaking down on defense and London hitting shots. Madison Plains not hitting any shots, really. And we saw them, as we mentioned, go cold against Greenon a week and a half ago or so, and that's exactly what they've went in this ball game. Nothing special by London, although when London goes to that zone, it does confuse Madison Plains a little bit. But for Madison Plains, it's been a lack of hitting shots, and for London, it's been guys hitting shots. Madison Plains also not hitting on their free throws, as they missed about 5 or 6 in a row that quarter.
Yeah, the free throws have been the killer.
They've had close opportunities around the rim. Madison Plains has been getting a lot of offensive rebounds, but can't do anything with them. They'll have the ball to start the quarter. Johnson will have the ball as he crosses half court, defended by Andrich. Looks like London went back to their zone. 2-3 this time. Whitman with the basketball on the near side wing, gives it to the top of the key to Johnson. Over back to Whitman. Whitman will tee one up from deep. Can't get it to go, and Toops tries to get the offensive rebound, but pushes from behind, and London will have the basketball. That'll be Toops' 3rd foul. As Madison Plains has only fouled 4 times, London 7, so the Eagles are in the bonus. London still has a few more fouls to go until they get in the bonus. Woodyard with the basketball here on the near side, defended by Toops. Woodyard has been the guy here for London tonight, as well as Wyrick. He has the basketball, gives it off to the corner to Andrich. Andrich fakes and drives straight to the basket and will put it in from the left side. He faked a pass right back to the wing and had a wide open lane as the Eagle defender bid on it. Now Johnson will tee one up from the top of the key. Early possession shot, and he can't get it to go. Rebound brought down by Jimmy Dolan. Here's Hanley with the basketball. Gives it off to the near side wing to Andrich. Down low to Woodyard. Woodyard going to work on his defender. Woodyard backing down, leans into his defender, puts up a shot, can't get it to go. Rebound brought down by Richards. Now here's Toops bringing the ball up the court, gives it off to Johnson. London still in the 2-3 zone. Whitman with the ball in the corner. Gives it off to Johnson. Over, back to Johnson. Whitman Gets an open three and gets it to go. His first points of the night.
That's good.
We mentioned it. He's been held scoreless so far tonight. He's one of Madison Plains' leading scorers, and that, if he can get going, they can get back into this ball game. 39-28, London on top of the Eagles here. Over 6 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. Woodyard with the basketball, kicks it at the top of the key. Wyrick thinks about a three, pump fakes, drives to the basket, puts it up off the glass, too strong, rebound Eagles. Whitman brought it down. Now here comes Whitman, kicks it ahead to Rizika. Wide open three, gets it to go. Back-to-back trays from the Eagles, and a quick timeout by London. They've got this thing back in the single digits, down to 8, 39-31, as Rizika connected on the latest three, and it's been Madison Plains' leading scorers hit on back-to-back threes. The only difference is Rizika with 14 points here, carrying the Eagles tonight, and Whitman just with his first points of the night.
Well, maybe this will be exactly what Madison Plains needs to get started here. And if they just start hitting a few of these foul shots, they'll be back in this in no time.
Yeah, we saw Madison Plains go down last night to Miami Trace as they made a comeback, a couple nights ago. And
all your days are running together.
Yeah, they're all coming together. This holiday season, all these cookies
been busy
and everything.
For you.
Yeah, right? But we saw Madison Plains down to Miami Trace the other night, and they made a comeback, nearly won it, losing on the buzzer beater. So here they're looking to make another comeback, albeit in this game they were down more than the other night. Here's London in the open court. Doolin gives it off to Wyrick. Wyrick to the middle of the paint, off the glass for a layup. Madison Plains came out in a press, and London just beat it and went down the court and got a layup. Here's Johnson with the basketball for Plains. Gives it off to Toops as it nearly rolls into the backcourt. Toops driving to his left. Gives it down low to Richards. He'll put up a layup, and it goes. So Madison Plains calls off the press. Woodyard will walk it up the court for London. Here's Hanley with the basketball. Gives it off the near side corner to Wyrick. Wyrick loses the basketball. Gets it right back. Off to Woodyard. Woodyard, top the key. Gets a ball screen off to Hanley on the near side corner. Over the top of the key to Wyrick. Now over to Ondrich. Good ball movement by London. Ondrich picks up his dribble, gives it off to a rolling Hanley off a ball screen. Now to Doolin in the paint. He puts it up, too strong. Fight for the rebound. It comes down with London. Wyrick wide open for three and gets it to go. Wow, he has been a problem for Madison Plains tonight, as every time they inch back into it, he hits another three. He's got 4 threes in this ball game as Whitman tries to put up a quick mid-range jumper. It's no good. Here comes London again. Now Hanley has it near side, gives it down low to Ondrich in the post. Top the key, back to Wyrick. Woodyard driving to the left, and they're going to call a foul on the floor by Toops, who had his hands on Woodyard. Checking into the ball game for Madison Plains is Holbrook. He'll check in for Richards. London will take it underneath, out of bounds on the far side. It'll be Woodyard taking it out over the stretched hands of Toops, and he throws it right off Toops as he can't get it in bounds. They'll remain here with the Eagles. London gets it inbounds to Doolin, back to Woodyard on the handoff. Woodyard tries to step back, but almost breaks his own ankles, but it'll remain with London here. Doolin gets the ball on the near side wing, off to Woodyard, far side wing. Over the corner to Wyrick, gets it down low to Ondrich. Ondrich dribbles it back out to the perimeter. Here's Hanley with the basketball, driving, kicks it corner. Ondrich, he'll get a three-point opportunity, rolls around, no good, but rebound London, and puts it up, and it is Hanley. The rebound fell out and was tipped off the hands of Toops and Woodyard right underneath the Hanley. He gets it, lays it in, and Madison Plains calls a timeout as Coach Stewart for Plains is arguing with one of the referees. He's not happy about a call down low. With 3,
they mix it up a lot, and I can listen to them for longer periods of time.
Extreme Radio.
106.9.
Got what I need.
Begin the next step of your life at Ohio Christian University, one of the nation's fastest growing nonprofit universities. Earn an accredited associate, bachelor, or master's degree entirely online, or attend class once a week at one of 11 convenient locations. Programs range from business and human services to IT and RN to BSN and more. Call today, 855-OCU-GRAD, or on the web at enroll.ohiochristian.edu.
Back here in game number 1 of the McDonald's Holiday Classic Tournament on day 2 after we had a break. Here in the fourth quarter, it's getting late. London taking control of this ball game, up 46-33 after Madison Plains went on a run to get this thing back into single digits, but out of the timeout, London goes on another run to push the lead up to 13, and now Madison Plains having to call another timeout to try to get things under control before London just explodes and puts this lead too big to come back for the Eagles. With 3:50 to go here, 46-33 is the score. London on top. Madison Plains will have the basketball inbounding on the far sideline. It'll be Johnson. Johnson hands off to Toops, top the key. Toops looking down the post, nothing going, gives it off to Whitman. Whitman driving to the basket, puts up a shot. It's blocked from behind by Ondrich. Good defense there by London. Woodyard bringing the ball up the court. And he steps on his defender's shoe, breaks his ankles, and now here's Ondrich with the ball. And he'll turn it right over to the Eagles. Razika tries to throw it down low to Toops. Really not a good pass as it wasn't open at all, and it'll go off Toops' arm out of bounds back towards London. Madison Plains will have the press on. Ondrich gets the ball. Woodyard with the ball now. Gets it over to Hanley. Hanley's picked up by Toops. Hanley gives it off to Woodyard. Woodyard will be defended by a mismatched Razika. Razika gives it off to Wyrick. Over to the near side corner to Doolin. Doolin, top the key. Over to the corner to Woodyard. Woodyard back to the top of the key. Over to the far side corner. Pass down low to Woodyard. Defended by Razika in the post. He'll dribble back out and set things up for London. Under 3 minutes to go in this ball game. Madison Plains down 13. Have to get a stop here and get things going as Toops comes from behind to defend Hanley, who gets the ball in the post, and he'll be called for a foul. So that'll be Jacob Toops' 5th team foul, and he'll exit this ball game with 2 points on the night. Richards will come in for him. London will take it out of bounds underneath on the far side. It'll be Woodyard. He'll get it into Doolin, hands it right back to Woodyard. Woodyard gets a ball screen straight to the basket, lays it in. Nobody came over to help for Madison Plains, and Woodyard gets a wide open layup, and London expanding their lead. Now here's Johnson driving, will get a foul call. That'll be Woodyard for London picking up. Looks like it's going to be his 2nd foul of the ball game, and Johnson will head to the free throw line for a pair. London has given up 8 fouls on the night versus Madison Plains 6. So another foul against the Eagles will put the Raiders at the line for the 1-and-1. First free throw's up for Johnson, left short and to the right. Second free throw on its way is swished home. 34-48, Raiders on top of the Eagles. 2:25 to go here in the fourth quarter. Madison Plains showing a press, nearly gets a turnover. It's kicked out of bounds and will go towards Madison Plains. It was just deflected off Hanley's foot as he lost control and kicked it way out of bounds to the opposite side of the court. Madison Plains will have the basketball. Johnson, top the key, defended by Woodyard. Driving to his right, gives it out to Whitman. Madison Plains has to go here as they're down 14. And Whitman driving to the middle, spins, puts up a shot, and will be fouled and sent to the free throw line. So Whitman held to only 3 points tonight on 1 field goal made, misses his first free throw. That's been a big reason why Madison Plains is down in this ball game, because their second leading scorer, Jeffrey Whitman, hasn't been able to get things rolling tonight. And nobody's really stepped up in his place. So Whitman gets the second free throw to go. He's got 4 points on the night. Madison Plains will reapply the pressure. Woodyard with the basketball. Gives it off to Hanley. Over to Ondrich, far side corner. Ondrich still hasn't crossed the timeline. Does get it across to Woodyard. 48-35, under 2 minutes to play here in the fourth. London on top. Hanley with the basketball. Gives it off to Wyrick. Down low to Ondrich. He gets double teamed, and it's stolen by Madison Plains. Whitman comes up with the steal for the Eagles. Here's Johnson dribbling it up the court. Johnson all the way to the hoop, puts it up through contract, and it rolls in. London's going to call a quick timeout as Madison Plains has cut the lead down to 11.
We'll keep it right here.
1:34 to go here in the fourth quarter. London on top of the Eagles as one more foul will put the Eagles in the double bonus, but that's really shown to do nothing for them tonight as they haven't been able to hit free throws. And for London, it's been different. They've been firing three-pointers all night and have connected on many of them, especially here in the second half. Madison Plains having to do something that they're not accustomed to get back in this ball game, and that's pressuring the basketball. And they've done okay so far at it, but it's been nothing that's got them really closer into this ball game. So London will have the basketball, having to go the length of the court. Madison Plains with a press on. It'll be Hanley taking it out for the Raiders. He'll get it into Woodyard on the far side corner. Woodyard throws it to Ondrich, and he'll get across half court with the basketball. Ondrich picks up his dribble, gives it off to Woodyard. Woodyard driving through the paint. London looks like they're just going to hold this thing and try to milk as much clock and make Madison Plains foul. Ondrich with the basketball. 1:13. Ondrich driving, but he's fouled by Whitman, and that'll put the Raiders in the bonus.
I would say London probably smells a win here.
Yeah. And for Madison Plains, they're just going to have to pray that London doesn't make free throws down the stretch here, and they're probably going to have to get down the court and get some three-pointers up. And Ondrich misses the first free throw, but it rebound brought down by Doolin for London. So Madison Plains had an opportunity there, but they're going to have to foul again, but they're not, as Woodyard has the basketball. Richards goes out to defend him, and he'll foul him with 59 seconds to go, down by 11. And the Raiders will have another shot at the 1-and-1. Woodyard, he gets the first one to go, and we'll get a second one. Second free throw is up, and it's good for the Raiders. Quick timeout. That ties Woodyard with the lead of all scorers tonight as he ties. Let's see here. He's tied Wyrick for London. Both have 16 points. For Madison Plains, it's Razika with 14 points, and everyone else inside single digits. 50-37 here. We talked off air before this game. We thought that this game would be a little bit closer than this, and we thought Madison Plains might have the advantage, but we both knew that both teams are cold and hot teams, and coming into this ball game, whoever catches fire is going to be the team to win the ball game. And London has done that here in the second half.
Yeah, that's what we've seen.
So London will exit their timeout as Madison Plains still in theirs. Don't forget, right after this ball game, we will have the second ball game as we'll break down a few minutes of this ball game, and then we'll take a short break and come back to you and bring the championship game of the McDonald's Classic Tournament to you live here from the pit. The last year that this gym will see this championship game that's been hosted for so many years.
That's right.
So the Eagles will have to take it the length of the court with 59 seconds to go here, down 13. London will have a bit of a press on, but they'll back off as it's inbounded. Johnson pushing the ball up the court for the Eagles. Johnson tries to get it down low to Holbrook, nearly lost it, puts it up with his right hand. He gets it to go. Now here come the Raiders trying to break Madison Plains' press, and Ondrich will get fouled from behind. Remember, when London first got into the bonus, he was the one fouled, missed the first free throw, but London got the offensive rebound right back. and got 2 more free throws, which really kind of almost put the nail in the coffin. Madison Plains, though, can get into this ball game if he misses this free throw and they get down and get some quick points. And he makes the first free throw and will get a second one. And the second free throw rattles home. 52-39, 46 seconds to go here. The Raiders on top of the Eagles. Johnson bringing the ball up the court. Middle of the paint, tries to put one up. Offensive rebound, no good by Richards, who had it in his hands, but it goes out. And the Raiders are going to look like they're going to get out of this thing with a victory as long as they get it across half court, and they do, and there's a foul from behind by Johnson. That'll be his 4th. And Woodyard will go back to the free throw line. First free throw up by Woodyard's too strong, but it doesn't really matter here as London's up 13 with 26.7 seconds to go. And the second free throw on its way. Hits the left side of the rim and bounces in. Here comes Madison Plains with the basketball. Johnson bringing it up. Hands it off to Whitman. Whitman driving to his left. Whitman jump stops. Spins around. Gets it down the post to Holbrook. He'll turn around, put it up with his right hand, and one. (41-53), 14.2 seconds to go here. Raiders on top of the Eagles. And the free throw by Holbrook is made. 42-53, Raiders on top. And London will break the press here. Wyrick with the basketball as Richards goes up to try to steal it, and it's knocked out of bounds off his foot, but will remain with London on the far sideline. So London will inbound it in the backcourt, and Woodyard will hold the ball as London comes back early to win this ball game, 53-42 here, and we'll come back to you and break it down.
Revolutionary Radio.
106.9. The variety of music.
Back here at Miami Trace, game 1 of tonight's action of the final day of this McDonald's Tournament Classic. Had a rivalry game, and London came out on top over Madison Plains in this ball game. We said from the start it was going to be who catches fire against these two teams that were pretty evenly matched up. And London certainly caught fire, especially from behind the perimeter, and that was one of Madison Plains' goals to stop. And it's really so bittersweet for Madison Plains because they were 2 points, even 1 point away from winning last night's ball game against defending champion Trace of this tournament. And we're going to go off to the championship game. They lose on a buzzer beater layup, and now the next night they take on their rival London and just come out and really didn't look like they were ready to play.
They looked flat.
Yeah.
They looked flat.
And we said before this game that we thought both teams would come out here with a lot of energy, and it looked like London that brought that punch a little bit more, albeit both teams, there wasn't a lot of offense from the start, but London caught fire, started making shots. Both teams tried to control possession of the game by walking it up the court and taking their time getting good shots, which is different than what we're accustomed to from both teams, as normally both of them like to push it up the court. So let's go over some of the scores here, as we don't have all the official stats here, just what we can see on the scoreboard. Let's start here
with we could have seen on the scoreboard. Oh, you got it. Good smart thing to do.
So for Madison Plains, as they lost 53-42, Jeffrey Whitman, their second leading scorer, only had 4 points on the night. Matthew Johnson had 7 points. Ian Richards with 5. Spencer Razika with 14. Jacob Toops with 2 points. And Anthony Holbrook with 10 points. For London, it was Josh Hanley with 4 points. Jimmy Doolin with 6 points. Trey Woodyard with 17 points to lead all scorers in this ball game. Jake Ondrich with 8 points, and the second leading scorer of this ball game and second leading scorer for London was Stuart Wyrick, who really heated up in the second half from deep. So we will take a short break, and we will come back to break this ball game against the Miami Trace Panthers and the Greenview Rams in this championship game of the McDonald's Holiday Classic Tournament.